Hey everybody, welcome back to Hollow Knight. We're back at the Ancient Basin, and I do gotta say, I didn't show off one particular area in the game, in this area, because we couldn't do anything here. Last episode we got the King's Brand, and this is the only place we'll use it.
Perfect. You solved the puzzle.
Yes. No, we're sadly not gonna get a title card for a while, but this is gonna be a long drop.
It's the King's Seal. Is that insinuating that the king is here?
The King's Seal, if we looked over it before, it says, symbol of the new king, he who possesses this seal is now, King of Hollow Nest. So we own this bitch now.
So now you're the king.
Mm-hmm. Also, that door there has something to do with, lifeblood. You need 14 lifeblood, slots, or, units in order to open that door. There are two ways to get it. A, the really dumb way of going to every lifeblood core on, in the game, or just getting 2 trinkets. But yes, welcome to the Abyss.
Spooky.
Happy Halloween, folks.
The Abyss.
So we're gonna do a puzzle that I think is a little well, I wouldn't say convoluted, but kind of weird in its thinking. What do you think we should do here?
Hit the box.
Well, you're not wrong. You can psychic knife a ribcage altar. But yeah, the main clues are the background and hitting that thing, and it's the upgrade for our up B.
Oh, so you actually have to have one of those upgrades to even progress in this part? That's unusual.
No, this is entirely optional, but it's a boost to our magic spell.
Did you already have a boost for it? Now it's even more boosted?
No, I've boosted the projectile and the ground stomp. I have not boosted the up B, which is the anti-air.
Interesting that instead of fighting a boss, it was just a puzzle to get that. That was lazy, come on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like walking.
It's just so convenient when you don't have to hold left on the control stick.
This helps me ignore the corpses. Boy's a bit slap happy.
Sadly, you can't psychic knife the wild, unfeeling tendrils of the everlasting darkness. They have no thought.
What is the Abyss?
We have no idea. What we've learned so far of the Abyss, you mainly learn this from the artifact guy. His name escapes me because we haven't done recordings in like a month. But if you give him certain artifacts, he'll mention a empire that was here before Hollow Nest, and how that place was in ruins before we even got here. And because of the remnants of that, we were able to exploit certain attributes of the Abyss. I say we, I mean the King of Hollow Nest.
So now we're walking through ruins of the ruins that are on top of existing ruins.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously if a society fell apart, it's a good idea to exploit whatever they did.
Hell yeah. They didn't make any mistakes, no sir.
Turn it off like a light switch.
I don't know what that line is supposed to mean, because there's really not a lot of C motif in this game, so I might be missing something here. Also, you want to see some dumb bullshit? I was trying to show off a glitch here, but man, I suck.
Perfect. Oh, well, no, perfect. First try. Oh, perfect first try. You got this. Never mind.
So what I was trying to show off was, at the tippy top of that lighthouse is an invisible wall, because the game doesn't want you to go over that for some reason.
I like how you say show off, as you get stabbed repeatedly.
Yeah, I tried to show it off, but I just got bored and I didn't want to spend 5 minutes to do that just for a funny little glitch. I don't know.
It's funny how you go to places that look abandoned and then somehow in the next video go to a place that seems even more abandoned.
It's like the inception of abandonment.
Yep. Not you again. So it's like the abyss itself has a liquidy form.
Yeah.
Delicious. Drink up.
I'm gonna touch the poop.
Oh.
Now our dash has invincibility frames.
Was there a hint to know to do that?
No. I think the hint is there's oozing black darkness there.
And there's nowhere else to go.
Jump in. But there's one really cool thing about this perk. It's not iframes. We technically don't exist in the game once we use that dash. So attacks will go through us, we go through things, and that's how we get past the barriers.
Do you have to charge that dash, or is it just your standard dash now has that?
Your standard dash now has that, but it's also on a cooldown, so you can't iframe dash forever. You have to time it right. Luckily, it's not a long cooldown, it's like 1 second.
So it's saying that the void itself is... this is just a fragment of the void, so the void is actually probably one large singular thing.
Mm-hmm. All this talk of the void is making me laugh because, recently a lot of people like to do something called Final Fantasy V, the 4-job fiesta, and Final Fantasy V has a fascinating obsession with the void. To the point where last time I played that game, that word lost all meaning. This is the artifact that you take to Lem in order to figure out what the heck is the Abyss.
Where did you find this badge? In the Abyss? Oh, fuck.
I mean, yeah, I'll pay for it, but jeez, really? God, Crystal Dash is the best thing ever. Don't even gotta play the video game anymore, just press that button real quick and bam.
Guess if you don't have just everywhere fast travel, you gotta basically fly.
Yeah. The new update with the hotspot does fix a lot of things. I would use it, but there is something waiting for us back at the entrance of the Abyss. So let's get walking. For viewers at home...
This society, obviously, they died in a different method than the Hollow Nest did.
Yep.
There's still bugs with orange shit in them, though, as you can see.
Yeah, I feel like those bugs are kind of like the chimpanzee or orangutan predecessor to bug society. Like, we evolved from
yes,
them.
grubs, the monkeys of bugs.
Yes. God, entomologists are gonna be pissed at me.
I'm sitting there saying it while shaking my head.
I think it's the allegory that they're going for here in this game, because there's a lot of goofy things about this game. One thing
I think the word you were looking for is progenitus.
Yeah, thank you.
As opposed to the monkey of bugs.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Welcome to the Abyss.
Let me stab your
fuck?
brain.
La fenu venido.
So if it wasn't so insanely obvious throughout the game, yeah, we're not a bug.
You were born of the Abyss.
Now, an interesting thing to note, if I had done my due diligence and actually looked around for other stuff, there is sufficient lore in this game that goes into Hornet's backstory, where she is actually a, what's the term I'm looking for? She's like a, I don't want to say political baby, because, man, I'm really bad with my vernacular today. But she was a spouse...
A political monkey.
Yes. She was a child created from a political move by the King of Hellenes to unite his empire with the, I believe, the Spiders. And the leader of the Spiders would make a child with a creation from the Abyss, and that's what Hornet would become. Hornet is actually half Abyss.
So they're still existing. So, interesting is, so it specifies that there's ancestry available through the Abyss itself, despite the fact that it's a dead society.
Yep. Because the Abyss right now is kind of like humanity in the Dark Souls. Like, there's no physical body left, but there is still a something there.
There's a life.
Yeah. Ironically, that life is emptiness. Because the big thing that's been going on right now is that throughout the whole game, we've been learning that the King of Hellenes has been seeking something that is absolutely empty to contain whatever the heck this infection is. That is why...
Nothing more empty than the Abyss, I guess.
Yep. Now, the interesting thing is that, because Hornet is half void, she is, in all technicality, your sister. Well, Hollow Knight's sister.
I don't think necessarily it works on a bloodline aspect. Because, I mean, there's no blood, it's just you are all a part of the darkness.
Yeah.
And you can dual wield.
God damn it. Also, back there, since we completely glazed over it, I got the Sharp Shadow. You can only get that once you get the iframe dash. That thing not only increases your dash length and speed, but it also gives your dash an attack frame.
Oh, nice.
It is a really good trinket, but it also completely fucks up platforming in some areas, which we will learn today.
That's the game's fault, right?
No. Honestly, I forgot. I actually did not know until a friend of mine told me that the Sharp Shadow increases your dash length.
Dash Master!
And also it combines with Dash Master. Now, we do have, like, this video is not just the Void. Now that we have the Shadow Dash, we can continue the plot over at the Queen's Garden.
And you said they are going to explain a bit more about the actual origin and history of the Void.
Mm-hmm. It just takes a while to get to because, man, there's a lot of work to get to that story.
I mean, technically, since the Void equals nothingness and death, I don't know if the Void's necessarily a good thing.
That's the interesting thing about this game. In most other games, stuff like the Void, the all-encroaching darkness, all that good hot garbage, is typically treated like either a very antagonistic force or just kind of like an edgy thing for people to seem brooding about. In this game, it doesn't really treat it that. It treats the Void as kind of a natural thing. Like, you have...
Well, they would say, where there is light, there is darkness, and all that.
Yeah, typically that's what the route they would go, but they don't even go with that. They're just like, there's this weird sentient substance below us, sir. What do we do? Well, shit, exploit that. This could probably save us from that damn disease.
Well, one thing you did mention is that this city is built inside of a giant insect.
I don't think I ever mentioned that.
Well, because you mentioned that what you talked about when they went to the end of the world, there was that giant bug.
Oh yeah, the worm.
So I insinuated, did they build the society in the worm?
That's actually a good insinuation to make, but no. The case is the worm is actually outside of the city. Also, here's the platforming segment where Sharp Shadow will ruin everything.
So in that case, is the worm significant in some way, or is like the originator of society? Well, no, you mentioned that it's what gave insects sentience.
The worm was a very large and powerful being, and it had the capacity to change its form.
It's better to distract yourself with lore as you watch yourself fail repeatedly and quickly.
Yeah. But yeah, I believe Babadoon mentioned this. He says that the worm was a giant being with overwhelming power, and at some point he decided to change his form into the King of Hollownest and give bugs sentience.
So the former king was actually the worm reincarnated?
Yep. That's why inside the husk of the worm we found the King's brand.
So maybe the darkness itself, the void, is actually what created the bugs.
Possibly. But yeah, we are quickly approaching, if done right, one of my favorite boss fights in this game. So it starts off relatively innocuous.
What are you doing, mantises? Oh, hi.
I love this so much. I think this is the raddest shit. Like, when I first played this game, I didn't realize I did her story entirely right, so when she appeared here and started fighting alongside me, I was giddy as a schoolgirl. This was great. And then this guy appears.
Traitor Lord.
So
this is when you mentioned the traitors.
Yep. And I was actually wrong in the traitors. Somebody had to correct me in the thread. The traitors are actually mantises that succumb to the power offered by the infection.
Oh no! Oh go!
That's why I like that fight a lot.
Trading bros.
Cloth is kind of a badass in this segment.
Oh no, she's dead.
Yep.
Damn it.
Cloth died to help us. Now,
Cloth.
yeah, I will say because I missed the, what's it called? Her segment in Deepnest. We missed a very pivotal point in her plot where she's trying to honor the memory of a friend that she knew a long time ago. Because at one point, Cloth actually ran away, leaving a friend of hers to die, so she's been trying to honor her friend's memory in some way.
That would have probably been good to know. Oh,
yeah.
Hello.
I'll discuss more of that when we actually finish her storyline. But let's talk about this. Remember when we met the bees and she said she is not the queen that we're looking for? This is the queen we're looking for.
So is this the Queen of Hollownest?
Yes.
She is not infected.
Nope, she is pure as the fallen snow.
Kill her.
Why? What'd she do?
She ain't doing nothing now.
Just want to get every problem out of the way ahead of time.
She might have some valuables on her.
I could take her weapon if I just kill her.
Take her wallet.
Yeah, here's what I was talking about a while ago. This is the lore for Hornet. I don't know what she is, because right now, she looks like a tree. But yeah, that's a very bold and misleading statement by her. She mentions that the original Hollow Knight that the king chose, in order to contain the infection, you need a perfectly empty vessel. Now, unfortunately, the Hollow Knight that was made famous was tarnished by an ideal, according to the White Lady, so he was not empty. He had ambition, and that allowed the infection to manipulate the vessel. The big difference between the old Hollow Knight and us is that our character is quote-unquote truly empty.
So the worm basically made all these vessels in an attempt to seal them away. So you're not the first.
Nope. Also, look who's here.
Thank you, Cloth.
You are the best character in my opinion.
The Traitor King's like, well, great, now I have a ghost next to the ghost that killed me.
Yeah, Nola is the friend of Cloth. Now, if we had botched Cloth's story, it would end in her being at Dirtmouth saying, "Well, this adventure was fun and all, but I think I'm gonna be heading to new places, new things, seeking new adventure and new combat." Her entire point was to die valiantly in battle to honor her dead ally. But she has been a coward for the most part. But by meeting our good friend Hollow Knight, she gained the courage to finally honor her dead friend.
Bittersweet, but at least she got what she wanted.
Mm-hmm. Probably my favorite story in the game, bar none.
I mean, the insinuation at least got in the story, because I was trying to focus on all the stuff the Queen was saying, was that basically my gist of getting from all this is that the worm shows up, decides that, hey, this place has a lot of power to it, and look at all these bugs that have no brains. I'll become their king. So he pops down and reincarnates himself into a normal insect, basically a king, and rules a kingdom. And then suddenly an infection shows up, which I don't know if they explain where the infections come from yet.
Not yet.
And decides, well, shit, I've learned about this power called the Abyss that seems to be just a source of emptiness. This might be the only way of sealing something away, so I'll start making bugs out of that. Well, maybe he made the bugs out of the void initially anyway.
That's a good assumption, yeah.
Because it kind of has a creator's myth to it. It sounds like a little bit where it just shows up and just makes bugs with intelligence. But as you said, they were all filled with various ambitions and ideas and individuality, and that's what caused the downfall. So maybe these hollow ones are basically, hey, these are the most pure forms because they're just made of pure darkness. They could seal away the infection or something. That's what I'm getting.
Very good. You've been paying attention, because that is exactly what's been happening. But we are still missing two key pieces of information. We're missing some of the ambitions of the White King, and we don't know where the infection came from yet.
The what and why of the infection.
Yeah, we will learn those eventually. But for now, you are fairly well accurate, and I do like the creation myth thing that you brought up, because I actually never thought of that.
If the idea is that the individuality is what messed this initial vessel up, which I assume is the last boss, or whoever created, I assume it is, or at least one of the last bosses, that other insects created from this abyss must have been it. I just imagine as the abyss being like primordial. What did they call those pools where they said life crawled out of?
The primordial. Oh, fuck, I know it's primordial something. The primordial
soup or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
And yeah, so it was. I imagine the abyss is a bit of a at least the abyss or that darkness is a bit of a primordial soup, and this worm created these insect races, which they've never outright called them insects.
Yeah. Honestly, they're just civilians.
And it really, I mean, I don't know if it's actually shown what the abyss necessarily formed, because he said there were ruins beforehand. So it might have been there might have been a society that existed out of the abyss, or maybe a society built around the abyss before Hollow Dirt got built.
Hollow Dirt.
Hollow whatever, you know what I mean.
Hollow Nest.
Hollow Dirt.
And Dirt
Yeah,
Mouth.
Hollow Nest. Yeah, and, yeah. Hollow Mouth.
At this point in the game, it's really hard to keep facts straight, so I'm impressed that you're actually keeping this all well and organized.
Listen, man, I think of stories all the time.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So yeah, that's what I'm getting, but I do need a bit more information to try to pick up anything else. So, well, I'll keep my lower mouth shut until then.
Well, unfortunately, next video we're not gonna be getting any story. It's mainly I have to do X and X to progress, and I have to show things off there because it's part of the thing. But then afterwards, we get a huge glut of information.
Nice. It gives me some time to make up some more lore about Wang.
Good night, folks.
Good night.